Welcome back, everyone. Long time no vlog. I didn't post last week because the GBO, which is now known as the DDO, is always jam-packed with all kinds of stuff to do. Not to mention I ended up playing the Mid-America right before, and so I only had one day to practice each course. Real quick, to go right along with that, a couple months ago I was asking all of you to ask questions of me, of things you would want to see, and a lot of you guys asked, what do you do in your free time? And I pretty much have none. Last week I tried very hard to figure out a way that I could possibly post a video for you guys, and it just was not going to be possible. If you guys want to see me put together kind of a general overview of my weekly routine and how I spend all my time, let me know in the comments, and perhaps I will put that together in the future. Now, to bring you guys all up to speed, 2 weekends ago, I played the Mid-America Open in Columbia, Missouri. It was going to be on Harmony Bends, which is like one of the best courses ever. Turns out that Harmony Bends is in a major flood zone, and so it was all flooded out. There was no way the Pro Tour was going to be able to run an event there, so they ended up putting us on another nearby course, a lot shorter. I think it was par 55. Yeah, it was really disappointing not to be able to play on Harmony, but having said that, it was kind of my kind of course. A lot of technical lines, and you had to really get creative and be able to visualize some really unique shot shapes, which I feel like I'm pretty darn good at. So yeah, it was, I don't know, a word that I would use to describe that course is annoying, because when I step onto that course, I feel like I should be shooting, I don't know, 12 under every time. And then you work your way through, you hit a couple trees, you find an OB or two, and before you know it, you're like 2 under instead of 12 under. So anyway, not exactly a top level course, but I was just stoked to be able to play an event. So I'm very excited and very grateful for everyone who had a part in throwing that event together last minute. All throughout that tournament, I was throwing really well, but my putter just wasn't working great. Halfway through the tournament, I was in the lead, but again, I just kept letting those putts slip by and just kind of ended up doing okay. From there, I headed to Emporia, and for any of you who haven't been to the DDO, put it on your bucket list. It is an experience like no other. I was hoping to kind of capture some of that for any of you who haven't been there for my vlog last week, but like I said, there was no way I was going to be able to put it all together, so unfortunately, just take my word for it. Get out to Emporia and experience the DDO. This year it wasn't quite the full experience due to residual COVID aftermath that's still going on, but it's still super sweet every time. Hands down, one of the coolest experiences, one of the most unique tournaments ever. I got in some quick practice rounds in some severe wind, played both courses, saw Jones Gold for the first time, and I was a little disappointed with how easy it was. There are like 4 or 5 holes that are super sweet. Hole 1 and hole 18, both super challenging and really cool holes. But most of the holes out there are tweeners, and so you're just throwing big drives and then short up shots. And I don't know, I had mixed feelings about that course. I liked what they were going after, and I imagine they're going to make some sweet improvements in the future, but I just think it's a little bit too easy for the top pros. The moment I saw that course, I knew you were going to have to shoot 13 under or better to keep up with the leaders. Which just not my personal preference to play that kind of course. For me and my personal game, the DDO was pretty much the same story as the rest of the season has been so far. I threw really well most of the time, and I putted not really well most of the time, and ended up with kind of another mediocre finish. Some positives that I'm taking away from the DDO. One, I smiled more than I think I have in any other tournament. So my attitude and my perspective is always improving, which is very important and very good. In the final round, I putted better than I probably have in years. My putter was feeling really good. I was feeling kind of back to my old self, back when I was confident putting, and hoping to build on that confidence and all the work that I've been putting in on my putt moving forward. And the third thing being that I'm finally realizing that I was not as ready as I felt like I was coming into this season. So I've come up with a whole different routine moving forward. I'm going to concentrate a lot more on throwing and improving my throwing, make sure my throws are on point. That may sound backwards because you're like, you just told me your putting has been your weakness, not your throwing. However, here's the thing. Putting is so simple, yet so complex. Anyone can do it, yet it's hard to be amazingly consistent. And so I know the putt is going to click. I know it's going to come back. What I want to do, though, is make sure that my throwing is on point. And whenever my putting does click, whenever that moment is and it comes around and it does start happening, then I want my throws to be so on point that I will be unstoppable. Now, for today's video, I know I've been doing a lot of talking lately, and so it is time to get some throwing in this video. Another fan question that I've gotten a handful of times has to do with how I flick putters. The forehand putter is kind of my signature move. So in my next video, I'm going to get deep into how I forehand putters with such success. To tide you over until then, I'm just going to throw in a bunch during my practice round today. Also, take a look back at my Simon Lizotte 10-foot challenge video that I posted a few months ago. It's linked below, and that one is a really fun watch. I put my own little twist on it, and I end up throwing a lot of forehand putters in that one. So check it out. I think you'll enjoy that one. That's all I've got for you this time. Thank you so much for joining. Like and subscribe. I'm Joel Freeman. You're watching Wholehearted, and enjoy these putter forehands.